I'm Jim, the Whiskey Novice. Today, I'm here to talk to you about pronunciation in Irish whiskey, particularly some of the distillers who've been around a while and whose names are not so easy to understand by the English-speaking world. So let's get started. Bushmills. Bushmills. Bushmills, of course, named after the legendary singer Kate Bush, who was born in 1608. The Mills part was only added in the late 1970s after the great actor and inventor of the water wheel, Sir John Mills. Ech-lin-vill. Ech-lin-vill. If you pronounce this Ek-lin-vill or Ech-lin-vill, you won't be wrong, but you will be disrespected. What's the matter? Sorry?
I don't understand what those words say.
Alright, right. Okay, just reset and start again. Cooley. Hello and welcome back to another whiskey review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Good to be here, as ever. Good to have you with me. And we are into review number, where are we at? Another 58. Part 5 of my series, That Awkward Age, looking at some whiskies between the age of 3 and 16, but not including 10-year-old or 12-year-old. And this time, it's another 14-year-old, the Oban 14 from the Highlands, another offering from Diageo. It is bottled at 43%. It is chill filtered. There is colour added. Oban there is a little harbour town, lovely little harbour town. I was in it quite a few years ago. Had a little tour of the distillery while I was there, and lovely place. Although I do know people who have lived there and wouldn't say the same, but that's up to them, not up to me. So let's get stuck into this Oban, shall we? Into the nose. Now, I reviewed a whiskey early in this series. I think it was the first one of the series, the Ech-lin-vill 14. That was the other 14-year-old, or the last 14 I reviewed. Maybe not the last, one of the other 14s I reviewed in this series. And this, in the nose, initially, is quite similar to that Ech-lin-vill. And I said something about it, that there's an overripe fruit nose to it. It is a little similar, but that doesn't hang around long. Yet again, similar to the Ech-lin-vill, doesn't hang around long. That changes. And then things start to appear. I had to actually step back there for a moment because it did actually get a spearmint note, which I don't remember having got before. Honey, barley sugar, fresh ginger. As I said, it is a seafaring village. There is a light sea breeze, brininess off this. Works well, plays well in it. Even a very, very light smokiness. But when I say a light smokiness, like a fresh fire smoke burning somewhere in the distance. A bonfire burning somewhere in the distance. A chimney, basically a house fire and the smoke coming from the chimney. Somewhere in the distance where it's just there and no more. Subtle, fresh fruit. Tropical fruit. Pineapple. Very definitely pineapple. If you've been watching this series, you're going to start to think that it's sponsored by Diageo and pineapple, because they are two things that seem to come up quite a lot. It's not my fault. I ain't Diageo. I don't keep putting pineapple into these, but it's just something that I keep getting. it just seems to be something in this series where pineapple just seems to keep coming up. It is a nice nose. It's a nice, well-rounded nose. Fresh. The fresh fruit, as I say, once you get deep in there, the fresh fruit starts to come out and starts to play around onto the palate. Big palate, slightly sour delivery. Really makes itself known. Yet again, like the Clynelish, a waxy feel with it. Coats incredibly well. Brings some nice sweet citrusy notes to the back. Doesn't coat just as well as the Clynelish. Same sort of feel, but not just as much. There's a slight mustiness. It does coat, but as I said, not as much as the Clynelish, and it tends to wash away a little quicker. And it leaves a licorice almost. Leaves a hint of licorice around there. Yeah, full is quite sour after a while. Finish is long. The finish is long. It's hot. White pepper, I would suggest, and ginger. Now, I'm going to add water to this to try and tame it a little, because this is actually, I think, what's part of what I think's wrong with this. So I'm telling you that I think there's something wrong with it. Pardon me. It's a little wild. It's just not as tame as I would like it to be. Now, the water has softened it. Softer fruit notes. Peach. Mandarin, there's still a peppermint note there. Mandarin orange. But there's some acetone or glue, quite a sharp glue note, I think it is, which doesn't do a lot for it. Rounder, softer, less sharp, more creamy and delicate. And now orange, cinnamon. Yeah, water has helped this actually. It's become a bit powdery. Yeah. The finish. Water has improved this quite a bit actually. The finish, still long, still hot, but as the water has, as I say, has turned that heat into cinnamon, so it's actually brought something with it. It's brought a nice cinnamon heat with it, and it's more pleasant, it's more palatable, it's got more flavour. So once again, I think I said it with the Clynelish too, add water, I would recommend. It definitely has tamed this and made it a better, more palatable whiskey. This whiskey, as far as I can tell, gets mixed reviews, and I think an awful lot of people would be in agreement with me actually, or seem to be. A lot of those mixed reviews seem to be in the same thinking as myself, is that it's not a bad whiskey. It's not as good as sometimes it would be made out to be, and its let down probably is its price. I've never really seen it under 40 to 50 pounds, and it's just too expensive for what it is. Okay, it's a 14-year-old whiskey. All right, it's had its time, it's served its time. Give it credit for that, but there are other whiskies, better whiskies for the same price. It's that simple. It's not bad. It's not bad. Just a little pricey. Now, where do we go? Yes, if you like this, it could only be one. I've named it 2 or 3 times here, and it's this. It's one that I reviewed earlier in the series, at the start of the series. If you like this, try this. If you have a bottle of Oban 14, but you've never had Ech-lin-vill 14, try this, because this feels like as if it's getting somewhere. It feels like as if it's on the pinnacle of something, and then it just doesn't quite reach there. This reaches it. This reaches the points that this doesn't make. The body is almost there. The flavour's almost there. It's just almost there. This is there. So, not a bad whiskey. Too expensive. Yeah, excellent. So, if you like Oban 14, try Ech-lin-vill 14. I would highly recommend that. There you go. That's another one wrapped up. The series moves on, and I will be back next week with another one. Until then, thank you for being here. Thank you very much to my patrons, as always. All the details are below. Until the next time, my friends, here's your good health. Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.